hearings, so this maintains that public component. I need to read our hearing script. This covers the procedure for the hearing, and then we'll jump right into the application, or right into the hearing. So this is the May 11th, 2022 session of the zoning hearing examiner docket. My name is David Sturkey. I'm the zoning hearing examiner for the city of Cincinnati, and I'll preside over this hearing. The case before us today is case number ZH20220067. The purpose of the hearing is to allow applicants and any opposing parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rule found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the zoning hearing examiner. All testimony or evidence that an applicant or any opposing party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing unless a party has submitted evidence or testimony in the form of writing prior to this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant, the applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. If there were anyone here from the public, they'd have an opportunity to present after the applicant had presented its case. I'll give the zoning plans examiner, Wes Menzel, an opportunity to provide any testimony. In the event any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to this application, the applicant shall have an opportunity to make any rebut that testimony and or argument that had been made in opposition. And then finally, the applicant will have an opportunity to make any closing statements. After all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or to make any comments. I may also refuse to consider hearsay testimony that's generally evidence you want to introduce that consists of statements made by someone who's not present at this hearing. In the event of any technical difficulties with the Zoom technology, I'll do my best to troubleshoot those on the fly, but to the extent there's something that prevents us from meaningfully going forward with the hearing, I may continue or postpone the hearing at my discretion. Okay, last thing I need to do is just swear in all of our witnesses. So if you intend on providing any testimony here today, you need to be sworn. If that's you, if you could raise your right hand. I need everyone to answer out loud. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, Mr. Beto, the floor is yours.
Okay. So our application here is for a co-location on an existing cell tower. Tower is at 1250 Gest Street, Cincinnati. We are not proposing to extend the height of the tower or expand the compound. We're simply coming in, putting in some equipment cabinets, backup generator on the site within the fence, and then new antennas on the tower. The tower currently has antennas at 100 feet. We're coming in, putting in an additional array of antennas at 90 feet, and this is just to provide better coverage and capacity to the surrounding area. There's currently a gap in AT&T's coverage in this area, so we're looking to fill that gap. The area is zoned manufacturing general, and it's a large portion of the area there that does have that zoning. So we're not coming in and putting anything, up next to a residence or somewhere where someone's going to have a visual impact to them that they're not going to be particularly thrilled about. There's the actual tower is on shares a parcel with Duke Energy. They have a substation there. There's a bunch of businesses in the area. There's a railroad to the west of the tower, a little bit east of the tower. There's I think it's I-75 passes through there. We're coming in an area where it's not there's not going to be much of a visual impact to residences and whatnot there. The nearest towers are I guess the nearest one's about 3/4 of a mile away. Beyond that, there are a few towers, but they're all kind of outside a 1 mile radius. And, with the dense population of Cincinnati, each one of those towers is really we're asking a lot of each one of those towers as far as coverage needs. So as mentioned, we are just coming in and trying to fill that hole in the coverage there. We did provide a letter accompanying our application. I don't really think you want me to go through every point on that, but I think we've done a good job demonstrating in that letter just why why this should be granted. We're not proposing any new streets, any additional traffic that the area is going to experience. It's going to be negligible. A service tech will be there maybe once a month, and that's probably being that's probably realistically too much. Outside the construction of this site, there really won't be any additional traffic or equipment. We don't have lights or anything on anything, so there's no impact there. The noise generator will be minimal, and it's going to be limited to either power outages where the generator will operate, or once weekly the generator, it's got an exercise routine that it goes through just to keep lubricated and all the parts kind of in general working order. That's typically scheduled on like a Saturday at noon, so it really doesn't affect anyone that would be nearby anyway. And we are co-locating. That's obviously preferential for most cities to co-locate on an existing tower versus putting a new one up. So we're again trying to kind of minimize our overall impact here. I think that's really about it. It's a pretty basic cell tower co-location. Very small footprint on the equipment. We're going lower than the existing antennas there, so not much of a visual impact there. I know we have this will be done per code, and everyone should be satisfied. So I don't know if you guys have any questions, but that's just kind of the basics. We've done everything we can here to keep it simple, keep it clean, and not really affect anyone any more than we have to here.
Sure. I don't have any questions about this at this time. I will give Wes an opportunity to provide any testimony if he would like. Wes, did you want to add anything?
I'll just add that the original tower was approved with the conditional use in 2004. There was another permit granted in 2014 for a new mount, and that the existing base area does not have any screening, but it, like as Mike mentioned, it's in a Duke substation atmosphere, so there's really no adverse impact on the aesthetics by adding a mount on the top. So we did not require any additional screening because of that. Thanks.
Sure. Thanks, Wes, and thanks for your staff report. Mr. Beto, I don't have any questions on this. Would you like to say anything else in closing or otherwise before we adjourn here today?
No, I don't think so. Just thanks for your time.
Sure. And thank you for your time and for your thorough presentation. I appreciate that. Thanks for taking the time to review all of that with me. I agree with everything you said. I've seen a few cell tower cases now, and my time here as zoning hearing examiner, and this seems as good a spot as any with this existing electrical grid infrastructure there. So I don't see any problems with approving this. I'm going to approve it. I've reviewed all the materials, and so this will be approved. I need to formalize that decision in a written opinion that usually is what takes the 2 weeks that I mentioned earlier at the beginning. And so give me a little bit of time. We're getting a lot of applications and a lot of co-locations. Is there a reason why they're all coming in right now? Is this just like the time of the year where these are done, or is there new technology?
I have no idea. I know we're scheduled for another one next week. I really couldn't tell you. I guess I don't know what the other carriers are doing. It just so happened that it was convenient for us to kind of submit the two at the same time. But outside of AT&T, I don't really know.
Yeah, that's weird. I had 8 last week, and
Oh, wow.
I've got 3 more after this one, and so and apparently one next week as well. So I was just curious. It doesn't matter. I'm happy to do them, but I was just curious if there was a reason why we're seeing them all right now. Wes, do you know?
Well, I know that some of them are like the Dish network, so maybe they're like just expanding their coverage or something. Like it's different from the phone. I
But
think.
why now?
Dish is new to the market, and I hadn't thought about that. That may explain a lot of it. They're kind of getting into wireless, and that may explain a good chunk of it, where they're just trying to put up as many sites as possible, provide that coverage, across the nation.
Interesting.
And Mike, are you doing like 5G, or is that something to do with this volume of cases we've had? The 5G?
I don't think so. I think especially this one. I know for sure this one was just there's like I said, it's almost a mile plus to any of the nearby towers, so they're just trying to fill a gap in the coverage here.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for indulging me there for a minute. That's it. Unless you have any other questions right now, I will, as soon as I finish that decision, I put it into a PDF, I email it to you. So you'll have, you and Wes will have a copy of it, really just moments after it's complete. If you want to get a status update on the decision, where I'm at with it, or just check in on that, or have any other questions, you can reach out to me directly. I'm happy to help out or give you a status update. And yeah, I think that's it. Any questions right now about any of that?
No.
Okay. Yeah, once you have the decision, Wes is able to approve the permits or move on to that next step. So that's it. All right. Well, if anything comes up, reach out to me. Thanks again, Mr. Beto, for your time, your testimony. Guess maybe I'll see you next week.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay. Have a good one. We're adjourned.